Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a special session of the New York State Workers' Compensation Board monthly full board meeting. I am Clarissa Rodriguez, chair of the board, and I'm joined via teleconference by our 12 Council Elizabeth Lott, as well as a number of distinguished guests tuning in via our YouTube channel live. Welcome, everyone. Today marks the 1000th meeting of the full board, which is a remarkable achievement. I am honored to be the chair presiding over this historically momentous occasion and glad that you can also be here for some history in the makings. While I wish we could be together in person to celebrate, the fact that this 1000th meeting is happening virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic makes it all the more extraordinary for the record books. Before we move to the official business of today's board meeting, we wanted to take a few moments to reflect on the important role of the Workers' Compensation Board and the incredible progress made since its establishment 999 meetings ago. We're going to play a brief video, which is also available on the board's website. Stand by while we get it up and please enjoy. And in the meantime, if you haven't already, please mute yourselves. Since its early days, what is today known as the New York State Workers' Compensation Board has held monthly meetings of the full board, now a 13-member panel of commissioners appointed by the governor and approved by the New York State Legislature. When the board first came into existence in 1914, it was known as the Workers' Compensation Commission and was comprised of 5 members. While the name and number of commissioners have changed over the years, good morning.
Good morning.
The mission has remained the same, to ensure that the rights of injured workers and employers are protected under the law. Led by a chair and vice chair, the board members represent diverse regions of the state, occupations, experiences, and ultimately opinions, which are brought to bear on the thousands of workers' compensation determinations made each year. 3-member panels review the initial requests for administrative review. If those panels don't reach a unanimous decision, the losing party has a right to review by the full 13-member board. These cases and other important business are the subject of the public monthly full board meetings. Today, the board marks its 1000th full board meeting, a significant milestone. Those of us serving today and those who served before us take this moment to proudly reflect on the many important advancements and defining events since the board's inaugural session. Such progress has included the 1935 establishment of occupational disease as being compensable, the 1959 enactment of the Disability Benefits Law, the 1973 amendment to the Workers' Compensation Law to prohibit discrimination against workers who file or attempt to file a claim, the 1975 case that ruled psychological injuries are compensable to the same extent as physical injuries, the 1978 agency name from Workmen's Compensation Board to Workers' Compensation Board to reflect the presence and contributions of all workers, the changes born from the 1996 reforms, including the institution of Workers' Compensation Law, Section 21A, allowing for payment without prejudice. The board's swift response to September 11, 2001, ensuring that thousands of people hurt and killed both directly by and after the attacks, and their surviving families, quickly received benefits, as well as the enactment in 2006 of Article 8A to provide compensation for slowly developing diseases not known until years after 9/11. Implementation of the 2007 legislative reforms that tied the maximum weekly benefit to the statewide average weekly wage and also ensured claims could not be disputed solely in an effort to delay benefits, and amendments to related sections in 2017. The development and implementation of medical treatment guidelines in 2010 as a result of the 2007 reforms. The Business Relief Act of 2013, which delivered efficiencies resulting in $800 million in system savings to employers, while raising the minimum benefit for the most vulnerable workers. The 2016 enactment of New York's Paid Family Leave, the nation's strongest program of its kind at the time. The implementation of the 2017 legislative reforms, which included a prescription drug formulary. The expansion in 2020 of the types of providers who can be authorized to treat injured workers. And many technological advancements, such as the board's virtual hearing center, which rolled out statewide in 2018 and allowed hearings to continue without interruption from the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic. While we look back at these and other key moments and decisions, we'd like to share what some former chairs remember most about their time at the board.
In my first few years of those monthly board meetings, the board members would discuss and review certain cases, vote on proposed rules and regulations associated with the 1996 Reform Act, and receive monthly operational reports from various board departments. On 9/11, however, the board faced perhaps its most significant challenge of its first 100 years of existence. Over 2,000 death cases in one day. The board moved quickly and decisively. Within 2 weeks of 9/11, the board passed Resolution Number 1, reaffirming the commitment of the board to the victims and their families, and authorizing new procedures for the administration and adjudication of claims. I personally met with multiple employers, carriers, and claims administrators, requesting that they make payment on those cases. I believe that every board employee devoted all their energies to ensure the victims and their families received prompt and fair action by the board. I remain extremely proud of the high degree of professionalism by the board family of employees who went above and beyond to meet the legal, ethical, and operational obligations during those darkest of days following 9/11. Congratulations on this historic 1,000th meeting and best wishes for the future. Thank you.
My name is Dave Weiner, and I became chair of the board in March of 2004, almost 2.5 years since the 9/11 tragedy. The state at the time was putting together an aggressive plan to rebuild at Ground Zero in Lower Manhattan. Meanwhile, the staff at the Workers' Comp Board remained committed and steadfast in making sure that the victims and the emergency workers were not forgotten. I was amazed by the dedication of the board employees who rose above and beyond their stated mission. It was an experience that I will never forget. Thank you to the Board of Commissioners as you continue with that mission, and best of luck on your next 1,000 board meetings.
During the time I was chair, the Workers' Compensation Board implemented sweeping reforms. The 71-page law included many reforms, such as increasing the maximum benefit rate for injured workers, instituting the medical treatment guidelines, which established the standard of care for treatment to injured workers, creating the stop work order for businesses who refuse to carry workers' compensation insurance, and giving the board greater authority to remove medical providers who engaged in misconduct. I'd like to congratulate the board on their 1,000th meeting and thank you for your continued service to the injured workers of this state.
What I most remember about the board is this highly professional staff. It's been with the board for years and make sure that things run smoothly on a daily basis. It is because of people like this and not the chairs of the board. The board has over and over again been able to successfully surmount the crises that have been posed to it. Under Chairman Stachel, there was the 9/11 crisis. In my time, there was the implosion of the self-insured trusts. And I'm sure this terrible nationwide pandemic will breed all sorts of thorny problems as the board grapples with the question of how to compensate people who got COVID at the workplace. And as the board has done over and over again, I am sure that it will confront the current crisis and it will prevail. So congratulations on your 1,000th meeting, and health and safety to you all.
As I reflect back on my tenure as chair of the Workers' Compensation Board, two things stand out to me. First, the dedication and hard work of the commissioners that I served with. These commissioners were appointed by 4 different governors, but nevertheless always acted in a bipartisan manner to protect the legal rights of injured workers. Second thing that stands out to me is the professionalism of the board's legal staff. From the Office of General Counsel to the Workers' Compensation law judges to the attorneys that served in the Administrative Review Division, all these attorneys were hardworking, competent, and assisted the board immeasurably in its work. I had the privilege of attending 104 consecutive board meetings, so I know how important these board meetings are. And I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate the board on the historic milestone of its 1,000th meeting and wish the board continued success.
As we pass this historic milestone of 1,000 full board meetings, we look forward to this board's crucial services continuing as it builds upon its legacy of ensuring a fair and efficient workers' compensation system that works for the hard-working people of New York State. Wow, that was really impressive. Thank you to all of the former chairs, as well as the past and present commissioners and agency staff members, in particular, our excellent communications staff who helped create this video, and more importantly, helped this board pave a continued path of progress in serving the injured workers of New York State. We can also be proud of the continuous improvements we're making today, which include a project to build an entirely new and paperless claim system on board, which will make it easier and faster for injured workers to get the benefits they need. Lastly, in commemoration of today's meeting, New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo has issued a special proclamation to the board, which Vice Chair Frida Foster will now read, and you should also be able to view on screen. Morning, Frida.
Good morning. And thank you for the honor of reading the citation. Whereas the people of the Empire State are pleased to join in celebrating significant milestones in the annals of New York agencies, institutions, and landmarks that take us on a journey through our proud history, among these notable entities in the New York State Workers' Compensation Board, today recognizing its 1,000th meeting. And whereas this milestone provides a unique opportunity to pay tribute to an agency that has protected the rights of the participants in the workers' compensation system since it was founded in 1914. And whereas the New York State Workers' Compensation Board has long lived up to its mission to ensure the proper delivery of benefits to injured or ill workers and promote compliance with the workers' compensation law, and the devoted public servants who are dedicated to defending the rights of all injured workers and intended beneficiaries deserve our deepest gratitude. And whereas the New York State Workers' Compensation Board has continued to meet its obligations through the coronavirus pandemic, despite the many obstacles faced due to the global shutdown necessitated by COVID-19, and whereas the New York State Workers' Compensation Board will most assuredly continue its steadfast directive to improve the system that protects its stakeholders in labor and business, furthering the fundamental global goal of the workers' compensation law. And whereas on behalf of all New Yorkers, I congratulate Chair Clarissa Rodriguez on the hard work and selfless dedication the board has delivered to the Empire State for over 100 years on this very special occasion of its 1,000th meeting. Now, therefore, Andrew Cuomo, Governor of New York State, do hereby cite the 1000th meeting of the New York State Workers' Compensation Board in recognition of its extraordinary impact and with best wishes for continued success for many years to come. June 15th, 2021, signed Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Frida Foster. And with that, I will now call the 1000th meeting of the board to order. Madam Secretary, will you please call attendance?
Yes, Vice Chair Foster.
Here.
Board Member Petracchi. Here. Board Member Higgins.
Here.
Board Member Lobin.
Here.
Board Member Williams.
Here.
Board Member Hall.
Here.
Board Member Osley.
Here.
Board Member Crane.
Here.
Board Member Stasko.
Here.
Board Member Taveras.
Here.
Board Member Caginelli.
Here.
Board Member Delan.
Here.
Madam Chair, all members are present.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Agenda item 1, approval of the May 18th, 2021 meeting minutes. You have all received a copy of the meeting minutes to review. Are there any questions or need for discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, is there a motion to approve the May 18th, 2021 board meeting minutes?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and I make a motion to approve the May 18, 21 board meeting.
Thank you very much, Board Member Delan. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Sam Williams. I second that motion.
Excellent. Thank you, Board Member Williams. Is there any opposition to the motion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? Hearing no opposition, I am also a yes. That motion is passed. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 2, Office of General Counsel's Departmental Report. Now, Acting General Counsel Heather McMaster will now present the statistical and informational report for May 2021.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and board members. In May 2021, the Adjudication Division held 16,835 hearings. 11,457 cases were resolved at hearing, and the Adjudication Division issued 465 reserved decisions. There were also 1,761 waiver agreements finalized. The Administrative Review Division received 924 applications. It resolved 856, and there are currently 2,906 applications pending. In addition, Legal Affairs Division received 158 applications. It processed 108 of these applications, and there are currently 239 pending. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heather. Are there questions or any need for discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, may I please have a motion to accept the statistical and informational report of the Office of General Counsel?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and I make a motion to accept the panel's report as presented.
Okay, thank you so much, Board Member Delan. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Sam Williams. I second that motion.
Okay, thank you so much, Board Member Williams. Is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye. Aye.
Okay, all opposed? I am also a yes, that motion is passed. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 3, license applications. Special Counsel Elizabeth Lott will now present the licensing applications.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Rodriguez, Vice Chair, board members, colleagues. You have before you the recommendations from the assigned board panel regarding the licensing applications listed in Part 3 of today's agenda. Section 24A, Mark Sullivan, 3-year renewal. Section 53-B, nothing to consider. Section 53-D, Helmsman Management Services, LLC, 3-year renewal. American Equity Underwriters, Inc., 1-year renewal. And Retail Business Services, LLC, 3-year renewal. These are the opinions of and recommendations to the board for your consideration.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions or need for discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may I please have a motion to accept the recommendations of the panels as presented and identified as item 3 on the agenda?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to accept the recommendations of the.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Delan. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Sam Williams. I second that motion.
Excellent. Thank you, Board Member Williams. Is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, seeing and hearing no opposition. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. All opposed? Okay, hearing none. I am also a yes. That motion is passed. Thank you. Agenda item 4, legal appeals. Acting General Counsel Heather McMaster will now present the recommendations concerning decisions by the Appellate Division.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and board members. With respect to items 4A through 4O, it is the Office of General Counsel's recommendation to adopt the decisions of the court as the decisions of the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. May I have a motion to accept the recommendations of the Office of General Counsel?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and I move to accept the report of the General Counsel.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Sam Williams. I second that motion.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, seeing and hearing no opposition. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, seeing and hearing no opposition, I am also a yes. That motion is also passed. Thank you. Agenda item 5, mandatory full board review. We start with 5A, Agrimark McAdam Cheese, case number G2210968. Is there a motion with respect to 5A on the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and I move that the decision of the majority be accepted as the opinion of the full.
Thank you very much, Board Member Delan. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Lauren Lobin, and I second that motion.
Thank you very much, Board Member Lobin. Are there any recusals from this matter?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Mark Stasko. I request to be recused.
Duly noted. Thank you, Board Member Stasko. Is there any opposition to the motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Linda Hull. There is opposition.
Thank you, Board Member Hull. In light of the opposition, I call upon the Secretary for a roll call vote.
Board Member Lee.
No.
Board Member Caginelli.
No.
Board Member Crane.
Yes.
Board Member Delan.
Yes.
Board Member Higgins.
Yes.
Board Member Hall.
No.
Board Member Lobin.
Yes.
Board Member Peprocki. No. Board Member Taveras.
Yes.
Board Member Williams.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
That motion is carried 8-4.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. 5B, Ultra Pet LLC, case number G2730139. Is there a motion with respect to 5B on the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Stephen Crane. I move that the majority opinion be adopted as the opinion of the full board.
Thank you, Board Member Crane. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and I.
Thank you, Board Member Delan, for that second. Are there any recusals from this case? Okay, hearing none. Is there any opposition to the motion?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Paprocki, and there is opposition.
Thank you, Board Member Paprocki. In light of the opposition, I call upon the Secretary for a roll call vote.
Board Member Osley.
No.
Board Member Caginelli.
No.
Board Member Crane.
Yes.
Board Member Delan.
Yes.
Board Member Higgins.
Yes.
Board Member Hall.
No.
Board Member Lobin. Board Member Lobin, could you say that again, please?
You're on mute.
Yes.
Thank you. Board Member Paprocki. No. Board Member Stasko.
No.
Board Member Taveras. Board Member Taveras.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Board Member Williams.
Yes.
Vice Chair Foster.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
That motion is carried 8-5.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. And finally, 5C, FOJP Service Corporation, case numbers G2137242 and G0879689. Is there a motion with respect to 5C on the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is Board Member Tavares, and I move that the majority opinion as modified be adopted as the opinion of the full board.
Thank you very much, Board Member Tavares. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Lauren Lobin, and I second that motion.
Thank you very much, Board Member Lobin. Are there any recusals from this matter? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, I also hear and see no opposition. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? I hear no opposition. I am also a yes. That motion is passed unanimously. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 6, cases for a discretionary full board review. I now turn this portion of the agenda over to Vice Chair Foster.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the cases listed in item 6 on your agenda, it's been recommended that full board review be granted. Those cases are 6A, matter of L.I. Grekus, Staten Inc., sorry, and 6B, matter of General Security, Inc. I move to refer the cases back to the respective panels for further consideration.
Thank you, Vice Chair Foster. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Sam Williams. I second that motion.
Thank you, Board Member Williams. Are there any recusals from either of these matters? Okay, hearing none. Is there any opposition to the motion? Again, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. All opposed? Again, seeing and hearing no opposition, I am also a yes, that motion is passed. Thank you. Agenda item 7, is there any other business today?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'd like to make a comment if I could.
Yes, please go ahead, Board Member Higgins.
As a personal privilege, I'd like to take just a second to mention my father's name, Daniel J. Higgins Sr., who served on this board in the late 70s, early 80s. I think he would have been present for meeting number, say, possibly 500. But it's a privilege now to serve here for the 1000th meeting, and I want to congratulate all of my fellow board members and all of the staff that we have. They're great people to work with from top to bottom, and I thank everybody.
Thank you so much, Board Member Higgins. And yes, it's quite the honor to know that your father also served dutifully. Does anyone else want to make a comment on this momentous occasion? Okay.
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Ellen Peprocki.
Yes, go ahead.
And I would just like to say that it has been my privilege to serve on this board for, I believe, if my counting is correct, 222 of the 1,000 meetings. Looking over the time on the board, in addition to all the sentiments echoed by the previous chairs in the and your comments in the earlier video, I just find it astonishing that this board never sits still. It never accepts the status quo. It's constantly changing. From the advent of the electronic case folder to, as you noted, the virtual hearings that have been so vital in this past year. It's just astounding. And I am honored to serve on a board that serves the people of New York so well. Congratulations on 1,000.
Thank you so much for those comments, Board Member Peprocki. Really special. Okay. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge and congratulate our beautiful Vice Chair, Frida Foster, on her birthday today. So if everyone will take a moment to just say happy birthday. So it's special on many fronts today. Thank you for being here. The board would not be what it is if it were not for your guidance and leadership. So thank you so much, Vice Chair Foster. Okay, and with that, if there are no other comments, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Delan, and it is my privilege and honor to move to adjourn the 1000th meeting of the Workers' Compensation Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Delan. Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Board Member Sam Williams, and I second that motion.
Thank you, Board Member Williams. Is there any opposition? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? I'm also a yes, that motion is passed. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all so much for joining us today.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
See you at the next one.